Oh, okay. Here we are. The yellow shirt is on, and you know what that means. 30 for 30, and this I think this is the last 30 for 30. I think actually. Um, like I said before, I'll probably just continue. It'll probably end up being more than 30. Um, but if it doesn't, don't be shocked. Don't be surprised. I'm also considering, as someone else has mentioned, going to perhaps 2 videos a week that are better edited. So we will see here. But in this video, we're talking about as COVID-19 continues to spread in China, doctors anticipate major peak in July. Oof, this is interesting, but I'm going to start with a quick story here. When I came back from China, I had just been locked indoors. Oh man, it was over a month at that point. If you had to go out to get food or anything like that, which they didn't allow, um, which might do me some good now. But at that time, I was much thinner, and they only allowed delivery, and you had to do delivery so you could have some groceries delivered and stuff like that, or some fast food or whatever it may be. But there was no going out. There was a security guard, not just a baoan. A baoan is your apartment security guard, but a real security guard. Like a military guy with a weapon, and would not allow people to leave. Um, so yeah, after I got out, they did a week where we were out for a week, and we were like, "Yay, freedom!" And they locked us back down for another like 3 weeks. So after that, and after I got free again, basically I took the fastest plane I could out of there, and I was actually on the last plane, from what I understand, or at least what they told me, to Taiwan because flights were blocked from China to America. So I had to fly to Taiwan first, get tested in Taiwan, and then fly back to America. And real quick to finish this quick story here, when I came back in Chicago, things were shut down. Businesses were already, shutting down and things like that. And I had went back to my father's hometown. It's a more rural town. It's not tiny. It's not a tiny town. It's a good sized town. We went back there, and for about a week, I would say they kind of did the lockdown stuff where they had people getting tested and stuff. After that, they quit. They did social distancing, really, but that was it. They didn't require people to really have masks or anything. A lot of people wore masks anyways, but life was normal. People were going to Walmart, they were going to restaurants, they were going to church and all that stuff, just like, people do, and there was no change. That was then. For a year or however long it was after, when people in New York and Chicago and these cities were, tearing apart their businesses, we were thriving. We were living our normal lives, enjoying ourselves, going out and hanging out with friends, and it was great, right? But now imagine this. It's 2025. In the United States, COVID is over, right? It's not really a discussion now. In fact, me even talking about COVID right now is kind of strange. We've moved on. It's not trending. It's not the news. It's not even really mentioned in casual conversation. But in China, COVID is still spreading. And now, according to the Chinese doctors and multiple reports, they're bracing for a major peak this July. Think about that. 2025. Still spreading in China. I wonder why that could be. While the rest of the world has figured out how to live, how to adapt and move forward, China's stuck in 2020. Because the very thing it claims is its greatest strength, which is control, you know, is not working. What would work better? Less control. Letting people become immune to it, right? Chinese hospitals are already seeing an uptick in COVID cases, specifically a rise in fevers and respiratory symptoms. One Chinese doctor in Beijing flat out said, "This year COVID-19 epidemic is characterized by long duration and high intensity." They even admitted they're expecting another summer wave, potentially peaking by mid-July. Now, it's not already pretty crazy. Here's what's wild. China claimed for years that it handled COVID better than anyone else. They bragged about their zero COVID strategy. They showcased empty streets, lockdown cities, and QR codes. They were the gold standard of safety. Western media, like always, ate it up. CNN, the New York Times, and even academics praised the CCP's efficiency. But look where that got them. 5 years after the virus emerged, they're still not done. Still battling new strains. Still trying to hide the numbers. Still pushing surveillance and censorship to cover up their failure. And this is the part that they'll never admit. It wasn't the virus that beat them. It was their system. Because when the entire government is built on the idea that the party is perfect, you can't afford to admit mistakes. You can't be transparent. You can't allow debate. You can't even tell people the truth about a health crisis. Because truth is dangerous in a dictatorship or a communist country. Because when the only people are one to answer to is one party, who's there to blame? That's right, that one party. It's dangerous to them. But back in 2019 and early 2020, Chinese doctors tried to warn the world. They saw something new. They sounded the alarm. And the CCP silenced them. It threatened them. It forced apologies out of them. And by the time the world knew what was coming, the virus had already spread. And China was already spinning the narrative. Right? Fast forward to 2025 now. Again, we have issues. We're not perfect in America. I admit that. We debated everything. We did lockdowns, vaccines, masks. We've talked about all this. It was messy. Okay? It was loud, right? That's how our politics is here in America. It's loud. It's all over the place, right? And sometimes it was embarrassing. But you know what? That's freedom. And we fought it out. We made mistakes, but we learned. And then we did something incredible. We beat it, and we moved on. But not in China. They couldn't let go of the narrative. Couldn't admit COVID was going to be an endemic. So they doubled down. More lockdowns, more tech, more surveillance, more punishment. People in China were welded into buildings. They were dragged into quarantine camps. They were locked down for weeks with no food, no medicine, and it was done in the name of control. But here's the reality. Control is not competence. Fear is not health policy. And a dictatorship is not a substitute for silence. Okay? Xi Jinping and his Communist Party there can't force science. Science is what science does. And now, because of that, it's backfiring. Their medical system is overwhelmed again. Hospitals are preparing for another peak. Doctors are warning that long-duration infection cycles could get worse this summer. This isn't a policy failure. This is ideological failure. Because under communism, you can't adapt. You can't question orders. You can't admit that the supreme leader just might be wrong. So they just keep enforcing old policies. While the virus mutates and spreads like wildfire, they continue to watch. This is the trap of totalitarianism. You spend so much time controlling perception that you forget to fix the problem. That's what China's facing now. You want to know how COVID is still spreading in 2025? It's not just a virus issue. It's a governance issue. In a free country, you fight the disease. In China, you fight the narrative. And when the narrative matters more than the truth, what happens? Unfortunately, people die. Hospitals collapse. Doctors are ignored. And 5 years later, you still brag for a peak in July. This is what the CCP won't say out loud. Their control freak strategy, it didn't save China. It crippled it. Now people are sick again. Doctors are sounding the alarms. And the party is playing the same old game. Hide, spin, repeat. They didn't eliminate COVID. They suppressed the data. And now, once again, the wave is coming. It's coming for them. So what happens next? Well, see the same pattern. The Chinese government will downplay the numbers. Anyone who posts videos of overcrowded hospitals that I seen these overcrowded hospitals. I went by on a bus in Guangzhou, and I seen thousands of people outside of a hospital trying to get tested. But you know what? Put my video up. I put it up on WeChat, on my moments. You know what happened? It's gone. Got taken down. No notice. It was censored. I was probably lucky I wasn't detained. Foreign press will be blocked or redirected, and state media will continue to push the idea that, everything's under control. We got this, fellas. No need here. Don't need any help. We got it. Meanwhile, just like before, in China, millions will be infected. People will suffer in silence, and the world will pretend to not notice. Because truth makes China look bad. And the CCP has made it clear. Looking bad is the worst crime of all for them. Now, that's why COVID still haunts them, though, too. Not because the virus is unbeatable, but because their system refuses to accept that reality even exists at this point. If you want to know what communism looks like in 2025, we keep having this discussion on what communism is. Well, there it is. You're looking right at it. A government that would rather fake numbers than fix hospitals. That would rather monitor your phone than admit failure. That would rather rewrite history than save lives. So when July rolls around and China hits another peak, just remember, this is what happens when you build a society on lies, control, and fear. Not even the flu can die in a system like that. Think about it. Let me know if you guys liked the video. Definitely appreciate it. 30 for 30. Like I said, not sure how much more we're going to be doing of these, but I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon page, as always. And, yeah, have a good day.